Every so often, something new appears out of the bogland that is just noticeable enough to catch my attention. As every new thing, for better or worse, it leaves an impression on my mush brain, and sometimes, once all the sludge is wiped away, I find something worth keeping an eye on. This time, I've stumbled across a new genre of horror, unlike any other, a genre that uses late 90s and early 2000s technology to create unsettling, liminal visual stories. Why not stick around while we explore the twisted worlds of analog horror? So, where to begin? Well, analog horror was brutally torn from the gates of hell on the 16th of January 2016 with CHSS Advertisement 1. Not too scary, I know, but this series is more of an encrypted story than a horror. The reason it's arguably the beginning of the genre is its chosen art format and its delivery, which influenced all other analog horror series. The most notable that came shortly after CHSS was Local TV 58. I was introduced to this channel 4 years ago by a long-time friend. It was a silent, stormy night, and we'd been sat drinking by low light for several hours, when with a crash of thunder, the lights blew out. I was then described a video called simply Weather Service, in which viewers are urged to not look up at the moon repeatedly. And then without warning, a VHS video of the moon appears on screen and the video ends. Ooh. I know what you're probably thinking, but come on, half the horror of Local 58 is finding it at 3 AM. Do that, and then you can be judgmental. After TV 58, other channels that followed the same news broadcast style popped up. Analog horror stayed fairly tied to this format and the emergency broadcast format for a time, and gradually fell into obscurity. Until recently. Recently, a new twist in the story has taken shape and sculpted a new branch off of the genre. Alex Kister's Mandela Catalog has reignited people's fascination with analog horror, so far as to create games inspired by his series. Mandela Catalog is a story based on a world in which creatures, replicants, break into people's houses, steal the face and body of those inside, and then kill the unsuspecting family and friends who reside inside. This series has several layers to it, and this explanation is entirely abysmal, so let me elaborate. The Mandela Catalog has a slowly unravelling story to it. Each video sheds a little more light on the world in which it's set. Gradually, the series has gone from an informative graphic to a story about two FBI wanted paranormal anomaly hunters that in their attempt to dodge the law and investigate the unknown are delivered into the house of hell and a replicant's dream. Unlike its contemporaries, Mandela Catalog doesn't use a news broadcast format, however has woven emergency broadcasts into previous episodes before. In fact, Mandela Catalog uses an amalgamation of gripping storytelling, old-style footage, and horribly edited pictures of people, and strings them together with the feel of an old Resident Evil game. This series has caught people's fascination so much that a fan called Thorn Baker created the game Maple County, a police training game. In said game, you have to decide who the criminal is out of 2 images displayed on screen. As the game progresses, the faces have become more and more contorted. Mandela Catalog isn't the only new analog horror series that has exploded. More recently, a new series has exploded in popularity, Kane Pixels' BACKROOMS, which I'm sure by now everyone is familiar with. Released on the 7th of January 2022, BACKROOMS is a piece of technical animating brilliance. The BACKROOMS series is centered around the liminal space of an empty office building and the exploration of this space by an agency that either discovered or created the realm in which the Backrooms exists. In the first video, we are presented with some young people creating some kind of horror film. When the cameraman steps back and trips over, he seems to be teleported to the Backrooms. It's so early in the story that it's difficult to fully comprehend what exactly the situation is with the Backrooms. In one video, we're shown the portal, in which the hazmat people use to enter the Backrooms. In another, we are shown some kind of creature living in the Backrooms. So far in the series, all we know is that the Backrooms are dangerous and hazardous to humans, and that the company that created or discovered them are sending groups of analysts to learn the Backrooms. We are also aware that not all these analysts survive. It is going to be interesting to see where this series is taken in coming months, and I intend to cover this series in a video soon. The two channels I have mentioned already are channels and series that have amounted millions of views and are already well known. A personal favourite channel and a series that is lesser well known is the channel Patorikku. Patorikku is a channel with currently 23,000 subscribers and posted their first video 4 months from the time of this recording. This channel initially began creating a series called the Smile Tapes, a story based on the spreading of a fungal disease that, while in the process of slowly killing its victims, causes them to smile continually larger and larger. He also is in the process of creating the new series, They Lie Above. This series is a space-based analog horror series that already shows promise. In a sense, this new series is a hawk back to the Local 58 video I mentioned earlier. These are very brief explanations of larger developing stories which I urge you to watch and intend to cover in the next few months. These series in their own special way have re-sculpted the analog horror genre and left a mark on internet culture. Already independent game creators have begun publishing analog horror inspired work with a wide response. I suspect the increased popularity that the series mentioned in this video and other series has created may be partly due to the fear-fueled period we have just emerged from and continuously are aware of. Just as the great 1920s depression produced works by Edward Hopper and Norman Rockwell, so too have people found something to relate to in the digital art of this time. And why not? In a world so wrapped up in fear and loneliness, isn't it refreshing to be scared of something that isn't life itself? Not to mention the liminal importance. It's comforting to see images and spaces that somehow relate to our youth or feed some sense of familiarity, even if they're juxtaposed by synthetically created fear. The future of analog horror looks bright. More and more people are switching onto this genre and creating or following analog horror videos. It's nice that finally we have something interesting to watch again. Personally, I really hope that analog horror continues to thrive as it is doing, and I hope that when eventually, post-COVID, is given its own historical genre, analog horror is presented as the product of free thinking thrivers. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more.